You're with Julian on the brown notes, and I've got so much catching up to do because I've got a new job and I've barely been able to record anything, so I'm doing a really old album review. I've got like about 8 albums recently that I want to review. So this is James Holden, the UK wonder kid from Devon, who's released some of the most forward-thinking and imaginative electronic music out there in his new album. Imagine this is a high-dimensional space of all possibilities. Is, I think, my favourite electronic release of the year. It's been a pretty rough year for music. The opening, You're a Clearing, I Feel Love, I've written down here. I wrote this all down ages ago. Got a bit of a Silver Apples vibe, 60s electronica vibe. Very sort of warped phasing, a bit krautrocky as well, which is very him, I think. Sort of almost like Harmonia Deluxe, that era of krautrock electronica. Orbital crop up contains Multitudes, one of the longest tracks, the longest track on the album. Orbital seems like a centre place, wildly complicated. He does brilliant percussion. He's as far away from 4 to the floor percussion programming as you can get. Lots of live percussion in his music as well. Almost slips into like Cuban salsa music at times, with a piano as well. You just never know where you're going with his tracks, and his albums have been brilliant so far. Very psychedelic, Against 3, Common Land, very inventive percussion, sort of rainforesty vibe, very sort of calls to nature throughout this whole album. Future sound of London, sort of Papua New Guinea sort of vibe. It never quite sort of takes off, but like the tension sort of stays there to the end, which is fairly true of the album. He doesn't ever go for those slam dunk routes to sort of like, here's a big payoff. He sort of avoids obviousness throughout his music. Trust Your Feet, track 4, big track, lower keys, like 90s garage sort of synths, if you know what I mean. The Missing Key, got a bit of Aphex Twin who's come back. Aphex Twin's come back. He's coming back. So like got a really cohesive colour palette to the album. He does make whole albums as well, rather than like focusing on individual tracks that might stand alone so much. Very sort of sculpted and curated, and using a palette that is designed to make an album as a whole. He's very much an album artist. In the End You'll Know, it's got really strobing arpeggios. Very exciting track. It's probably the most, or the first normal house beat on the album. Quite minimalist Detroit. Track 7 is like got a bit of a Tangerine Dream vibe. Continuous Revolution. And again, great live percussion. I actually picked up Milo on 4 Ways Down the Valley. Whatever happened to Milo? One album, and that was it. The album was huge. Yes, I've written down Sunny California. There was that track, wasn't there, on the Milo album? There's not really any big song on the album that stands out. It's like they're all pieces of this album length puzzle. I've written down Medieval Cro-Magnon, which is just awesome, for track 9. Wells Collide Mountains Form. Incredible. Look up Cro-Magnon and their amazing music from the like 1970. Bagpipes, medieval torture, insanity, absolute insanity. Mystic Moods Orchestra as well on The Answer Is Yes. Another great psychedelic progressive outfit doing instrumental music around the end of the 60s and the start of the 70s. A nice psychedelic guitar on that. Track 11, Infinite Fade Out's got really luxurious warm bass synths to it. And the Postcoder track I've written down, what's this? You Can Never Go Back, which is like the I don't know what I made of that. Yeah. Anyway, as a whole, I thought it was another incredibly, he never goes for the easy option, and it always feels like he's spent an awful amount of time building an album organically. He's one of the most organic sounding electronic music producers out there. The percussion is never a drum machine just going doo doo doo. It's always all over the shop, and lots of live instrumentation in his music. I've seen him live as well, and he's done some really fantastic live performances with full bands as well. So he's like kind of to the left or the right of a lot of electronic music acts that get acclaim, where it's all synthetic music. Like maybe say Fortet or someone, where you can sort of hear it's all drum machines and synths. He's got a very flowery psychedelic feel to his music. I thought it was a very strong album, so I'm going to give James Holden, and this is a high dimensional space of all possibilities, an 8.5 out of 10.